Welcome back everyone to another Company First 2 rebroadcast, and this time we're going to have a 4v4 sent in by Bobo. He's going to be playing as the Wehrmacht. It's on steps, as you can see. They're spawning on the western end of the map. Then we're going to have the Maxus 8888, 4x8, interesting, playing as the OKW. Pinker, playing as the Wehrmacht. Banani Pina, playing as the OKW. And on the opposing side, we already have some interesting trash talk. We have Butthund, or Buthund, playing as the Soviets. Z-Doctor, playing as the Americans. Galubaya Krosh, playing as the UKF. And King Noob Droppers King, just King, with the Soviets. And we already see a sniper out of him in the north end of the map. Steps, of course. Pretty big open map. All along the middle there's lots of open ground. So the sniper is a good decision overall from King. The problem is he's going to have some problems actually getting some map control up against our hero Bobo. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Soon enough, we have the Maxus going with the first engagement in the center, going to be able to destroy this infantry section squad. In fact, entirely, very bad mistake by Galubaya Krosh, just letting them go down without a fight, really. And in the south, we see a little bit of a better situation for the Allies. The problem is this machine gun from Pinker is definitely going to suppress and shut down the Allied position quite quickly. There's a Maxim from Butthund trying to respond. In fact, he's going with the Maxim spam. The problem is, again, plus the Cubewog and plus the MG42 plus the Grenadiers, which managed to build some sandbags. The South looks to be in pretty decent Axis hand, even with just one player holding down the fort. Ooh, this could change the situation, though. Galubaya Krosh coming in with the Universal Carrier. And in fact, that is pretty damn dangerous. In the north, the sniper from the Allies is retreating. So King Noob gonna be forced to retreat that sniper back to base and get some healing. Problem also for him, it looks like his engineers taking lots and lots of casualties from Maxus's Volksgrenadiers. Volksgrenadiers that now can try to flank around and catch this Vickers machine gun in the flank. In the meantime, the Universal Carrier from Galubaya Krosh is being forced to retreat, and that's probably a wise decision out of him. In fact, the Vickers does reveal itself, getting some suppression down on these Volksgrenadiers. The problem is there is a second Volksgrenadier coming right out of the cliff. That was not expected for the poor MG, and it is going to be forced to retreat. In the south, we have a decently executed, looks like, Allied push. We have quite a few Maxims trying to cover the area from German troops. There's a sniper from the Germans, Pinker in the south, going for a sniper, which is a good decision overall, because it's going to allow him to pick away at the Allied infantry in the south. The problem is there's a little bit too many troops right now on the field for Z-Doctor, so he's going to be able to push up with his rifleman spam and do a lot of damage to the sniper. In fact, the Universal Carrier forcing the sniper to retreat once more. Universal Carrier very close to some Panzerfaust, but it's going to retreat quite safely. In the north, the Axis have managed to take control of most of these points. The problem is these Penal Battalion from King Noob are going to have a pretty easy time forcing away the cue ball. So we're going to have to see what Bobo goes to counter that threat. Although, so far he's in a pretty good position. He's got his VP covered, he's got a minefield, he's got a machine gun, he's got a sniper himself to counter the enemy sniper, although the Wehrmacht one with only one man compared to the two-man Soviet sniper teams, in fact there's two of them, is going to be pretty harsh for the sniper. It's going to be a difficult fight. And now he's got the Lightning Ward option with a lot of G43 Grenadiers, so this is exactly what he's going to be needing to counter these penals right off the bat. So pretty good position for Bobo in the north. We see in the south that we have Z-Doctor with a M20, so Lieutenant here for him. No early Stuarts are going to be coming out, and in fact his core re-echelon troops are smothered by the Splitstorm Pioneer Squad quite easily. Looks like a BAR was dropped by the Allies, and this looks like it was stolen by some Volksgrenadiers, which then were completely annihilated by the snipers. Luke's coming in from the Maxus is going to face the Tank Hunter Infantry Section Squad with the heat grenades. You're going to be able to put down a lot of damage on this Lukes with the damaged engine, getting the last remaining rear shot and managing to escape just in time. Excellent play by our British player, Galubaya Krov, with, of course, the Special Weapons Regiment, considering he did have those Tank Hunters. So he's going to also have the ability to use the concentrated fire operation later on in the game to smash up those OKW trucks quite quickly. Meantime, looks like the center is a bit of a back and forth between German infantry and Allied troops. The Germans are coming in with some reinforcements. We'll need to see how well the Allies can use their advantage of having a machine gun around, though, because, of course, with that machine gun, we're going to have some nice suppression coming down, and there's another light tank ready for action for the Germans, so that means a second Lukes, I'm thinking. Yes, that does mean a second Lukes. Bobo's going for a 2-2-2 in the north to counter the 2 snipers. Excellent choice. I absolutely agree, and hope that he can use that to quite good effect against Mr. King Noob. He's got 2 snipers, and the 2-2-2 is the exact counter that you need for something like it. The south is completely on lockdown by Butt Hunt, and he is... yeah, he's going to go with the Soviet industry, so that means that he's going to be extremely dangerous later on with that KV-2, and it looks like we have some artillery coming down from the British base artillery. In fact, we do have the company command post already upgraded for Galubaya Krov, so he's going to have the ability to go for something like a Cromwell or a Centaur. Right now, a Centaur might be a more smart choice, but of course, we know that... ooh, scary. We do know that, well, rather, Galubaya Krov should know that the Germans do have a mechanized regiment headquarters. In fact, did the Maxis lose a second Lukes? Units. Yes, he did lose a second Lukes. Okay, never mind. I was about to say, he did know that since there was a Lukes that had been destroyed, he could have expected something like Puma. But of course, with the second Lukes being destroyed, the Allies should really be thinking that the Germans are starting to run out of early game cards, aces up their sleeves, and so they could be going for something of their own, such as a Centaur. But so far, we see a actually M3 half-track calling in from the Special Weapons Regiment, which is a very, very decent little unit, because it's going to allow him to upgrade some weapons on his infantry without the weapon racks at the barracks. Problem is, the M20 went down, so we're really starting to run low on light vehicles for the Allies, especially in the southern portion of the map. In the north, we have King Noob going for the shock motor heavy weapons tactics, and that's an okay little commander, but for the late game, it is going to be amazing. With that Isu-152, he's going to have the ability to use that in those big lines of sights and get lots of HE rounds down on the poor German infantry. German infantry is coming in force to try to recapture the south, but the Maxim is exactly what the Allies require to sort of hold down the southern portion of the map. They have an ambulance also to reinforce troops should they be in any way damaged by the fighting, and that's, of course, very, very good. Problem is, it seems like they're getting kind of cut off from the rest of their men. As you can see from the minimap, we have a pretty big push from the Germans towards the center, and so that's cutting off the southern island portion of the map from Galubaya Krov's forces. It looks like the push was defeated due to a bit of a lack of coordination. We have the secondary German force coming up the sort of northern slope, and the southern slope being the one that takes all the damage first. The anti-tank guns that are being brought out by the dozens, it looks like, by the Soviets. We have 2 from Butt Hunt and probably 2 as well from King Noob, are definitely proving quite the threat for the German light vehicles. In fact, the Maxis did go for this Puma that we thought could be coming in later on. Problem is, it seems like the Puma doesn't really have anything to shoot at. We do have a couple of light vehicles from the Brits, but the Brits are starting to get some pretty decent fuel reserves, so soon enough he's going to be able to come up with something like a Cromwell cruiser tank or a Firefly, which would definitely be a little bit too much for this Puma. King Noob does have the tier 4 available to him, so he could go also for something like a T34 76 while he waits for his lovely Isu-152 CPs to come in. And also Butt Hunt does have the tier 4 with the mechanized armor Compania, he's also in a bit of a better position to his allies to get some T34 spam going. Oh, we see a nice Jackson also from Z-Doctor. He's a bit of a better player to go with some T34 spam because he does have those repair stations from his lovely Soviet industry. So he could get the mass repairs going and get those tanks basically be in the fight a bit longer. The problem, it seems, we do have a T3476 in fact from him. Problem seems to be that the Allies are still kind of lacking in terms of infantry, except for the American player, Z-Doctor. Z-Doctor does have a very, very adequate force of riflemen, but it looks like the Soviets are really focusing on support weapons or different kinds of troops rather than infantry. We have a Stuka barrage coming in, not really doing a lot. Unfortunately, it is going to be a bit of a waste. Bobo does have his north end of the map secured, so he decides that maybe he should go south, and that's a very good idea. The problem is, he didn't really know what he was going to get himself into, and so the Rifleman wipe out one of his Grenadiers, and the Jackson easily just smashes the 222 down to scrap metal. So that is definitely not the best outcome of what Bobo thought was going to do. The problem is nothing. We have a Stuk from Bobo, and that's going to be decent enough against the Jackson. It can do some damage, especially once it gets up to that veteran C1 with the target weak point. It can really, really prove quite a nuisance for the Jackson. And so we can only hope for the Americans that they're going to be a little bit more careful with the Jackson, because when it comes to tank destroyers, the one that walks into the line of sight of the other and eats the first shot is most likely going to lose with the long reload times on those guns and the low HP pools. It really does only take a couple of shots, and if those 2 shots come before the enemy, well, then that's just the better. Okay. So Pinker did go with the mechanized assault. He did have some assault grenadiers throughout this engagement, not really doing much. He's got a P4 out in the field, which could be very, very dangerous to all this allied infantry that we have around. But of course, the P4 is going to be countered easily by the anti-tank guns. Anti-tank guns that can provide quite a long-range counter to the P4, especially when supported by snares from the infantry. British infantry doing quite well at that. Here comes a Katyusha barrage, I'm guessing. Oh, yep. Katyusha barrage from King Noob. Not really managing to do much, and here comes the response. The Stukatsfus going to be destroying the British contingent in the area and doing quite a bit of damage to other troops in the area as well, including the Jackson. So overall, okay barrage from the Stuka. It was honestly quite unlucky that it didn't manage to destroy the AT gun crew, because now the AT gun is going to be just easily reinforced by the half-track. In fact, it looks like the British forces. Here comes a second Stuka barrage. Not really doing a whole lot. In fact, the second Stuka barrage is from Banani and not from the Maxis. Forgot the name there for a second. Looks like the reconnaissance wagon is going to be a destroyed wagon right now because of these AT guns pushing up, doing the sensible thing, and forming up as a bit of a AT gun wall to get lots and lots of shots downrange against the Germans, and that's definitely helping them out. Here comes the Stug aus E. Stug with the 75mm anti-infantry gun is not going to do all that well against free AT guns. So, plus, of course, the Sherman Firefly, and most likely, well, where's the Jackson? Looks like it's gone south to repair, but the Jackson was in the area last time the Germans knew anything about that, so it would have been very unwise to send the Stug free E into that position anyway. In the meantime, what the Germans really are missing, the Allies seem to be trying to get a bit of a good push with the riflemen. At this point, though, yeah, the Schwerpanzer headquarters going to definitely shut that down. And of course, right now, the riflemen are going to be running into a huge swarm of German troops, and that is not going to be what they are going to want to do. They will try to escape through the woods, but the bullets are very fast, definitely much faster than a man running, so just a bit of damage, actually. Very lucky to not lose any men in that skirmish. So Z-Doctor needs to be very careful with his riflemen. The Allies have a huge fuel income lead over the Germans. They have a 44 fuel income as opposed to the Allies, or actually the Axis's 25 fuel income. Of course, that is partially due to the fact that the Axis don't control a fuel point. The center is basically no man's land right now. There goes another squad, unfortunate. And there goes more munitions wastes from Pinker. Not only due to that... Oh, sure. Okay, never mind. Ooh, excellent Stuka barrage. Takes out a machine gun crew. Looks like... No, actually a mortar crew. Very good. Not only due to that, but also because the allies do have quite a few more fuel caches. I'm not sure that's a good idea. That is going to blow up the fuel cache if anything actually hits that. Ooh, Bobo Stug is in trouble. Needs to run away from this AT gun. Wait, what? You can probably run away. Yeah, okay. This is a weird dance between the AT gun and the it's still going on. Wow, this is quite interesting. It's a bit like watching a llama and an elephant like have at each other. What is happening? Both of these units are just completely confused by what's happening. Ooh, I kind of see what Butthund is doing. He's got a huge spam of T34s and quite a few repair stations going on. Damn, look at that. 4 repair stations. So the might of the Soviet Union, or the Soviet Onion, is being put to work trying to keep this T34 force up and going. The problem is I don't think he's used any of these. So yes, exactly what I thought he was doing. He's trying to conserve all of them until he's built up a good enough force in his mind to go in and do a big, huge push of doom. The problem with that strategy is that, of course, right now he's essentially tying down all of his resources that he's spending on these T-34s into units that aren't really doing anything. So, of course, that is going to be a bit of a problem for his allies who are now holding the line essentially for him. 2 AT guns from him, definitely not going to be doing anything though, as the Stug does come in. We do see a bit of a use of attack round. Interesting little mines. The S-mines almost save Stug, but that is not enough. Meantime, we have a big push in the south from the American player. Z-Doctor trying to charge across the pond and put an end to this poor Schwer Panzer headquarters. It's not really working out. Excellent mortar. I'm guessing that was a mortar. Oh no, that was not a mortar shell. That was the Stückfree E. Getting a very nice little kill on the sniper. Tulip rockets put an end to that, and Raketenwerfer almost puts an end to the Sherman Firefly. So Galubayev is going to have his cake and eat it too, with the Firefly surviving and getting an excellent kill there. Looks like the Stukas have been hard at work trying to destroy their own mines, I guess, in the north. We have the Maxis with 11 kills on a Stuka. Let's see if his friend has been faring any better. 10 kills with less veterancy, so it looks like he hasn't really been doing all that much. Butthund, yeah, he's saying, don't leave, please. The reason he's saying that is because he has the most ridiculous T-34 spam of all time, ready to go for the motherland into battle or whatever. And he's essentially pushing up with only his infantry, and he's going right for the base. Like, I think that what he wants to do is he's trying to clear the ground for his T-34 horde to just come in and destroy the whole base. At this point, we have Bobo with a Panzerwerfer, of course, trying to counteract this push from AT guns and machine guns. Of course, Bobo doesn't really know, or let's see. Yeah, this could be devastating. One machine gun goes down, second machine gun goes down from the shack, is destroyed. Excellent little Panzerwerfer barrage, followed up by his cousin, the big cousin, the Stuka, doing some more damage and destroying one of the AT gun crews. So after this artillery barrage, it looks like the Germans will be trying to charge in and getting some rifle fire downrange to try to push back this allied force before it is too late. Problem is, yeah, this huge T-34 spam really isn't doing what it's supposed to. When the point comes when you have like 6 or 7 T-34s, at this point we're still at 6, quote-unquote, still. He wants the 7th, though. Look at that. He's waiting for the 7th T-34. When you get to this point, when you get to like 3-4 T-34s, I'm pretty sure you have a decent enough spam to do something with it. As long as you're kind of careful, you can definitely get a lot of work done. So rocket artillery coming in all across, even from the Americans. We have tactical support being chosen and the Calliope Sherman being purchased. Of course, that is very, very dangerous and terrible news for the Germans. We have 9 kills already on that Sherman Calliope. Let's see the kills on all of these rocket arty pieces. Wait for the fat lady to sing. Yeah, I think that Butthund is trying to, like, intimidate his opponents. Problem is, he's just kind of giving away the game that he's got something up. I don't think this is a very smart move out of him. It's still pretty funny, though, to see what he's doing. Katyusha Barrage being kind of misplaced onto an area where no Germans are present. In fact, there was a nice, fat, juicy blob of Panzer Fusiliers just a little south of that. In fact, the Jagdtiger is about to come out from the Maxis as well. Here comes the huge spam of Vickers K machine guns from that lovely weapons half-track. That's going to do quite a bit of damage. But here comes an Ox. Yeah, I was about to say an awesome Panzerwerfer, but I kind of had to eat my words. That should have been an awesome Panzerwerfer, but unfortunately for Bobo, that didn't really work out too well. The Allies are in a triple cap. As you can see, the Germans are down to 300 points, and with a triple cap going for the Allies, that is going to be only 5 minutes left for the Allies. We have a very nice artillery barrage coming in from Galubaya Krov, trying to push away the Germans from the north. In the center, the Germans are pushing in and trying to do something. Pinker doesn't have that much left, but he's going to have a Tiger soon, and it looks like the Sherman Calliope is up to 13 kills, taking out a MG team from the Germans. In the south, we have a huge push coming in from Banani Apina, going in with the KT and a pretty healthy infantry force. He's also got the Breakthrough Doctrine selected, so he's got a fairly healthy force of Panzer Fusiliers, which can be very, very dangerous against both enemy infantry and vehicles with their snare grenade. And of course, should he lose the KT, he does always have the option of going for a Jagdtiger, not both of them at once though, as that has been disabled. Yeah, I don't agree with that retreat. So how many T-34s are we up to now? Oh, this is spicy. We have 8 T-34s and nothing else. So it looks like Butthund has lost all of his troops. Wait, T-34s are 10. Okay, so he's going for the 10 T-34 build. Yeah, I am not 100% on that. Let's just say that this is a bad idea. While I have said in the past, and have done so in the past, that that doesn't really make any grammatical sense. But T-34s do have that very awesome tier veteran C1 secure mode. That does not mean you can go with only T-34s. You should probably go with some engineers as well to just have some minesweepers, sweep ahead of the T-34s, to build new repair stations in case your old ones go bye-bye. In general, to just be a very nice little supportive role, to scout, you know, all those things. 10 T-34s is a little bit nasty. Let's just say that. So Jagdtiger is on the field from the Maxis. It has absolutely no idea what is about to hit it. Well, I'm not talking about the Comet. Comet tank getting some nice crushing done on these P Fusiliers. In fact, wow, okay, the Panzer Fusiliers definitely being a little bit slow on the retreat. Here comes an excellent Stuka barrage on the Jagdtiger. Not really sure that was exactly what was expected. We have a demo charge coming in from King Noob. That is going to be probably the end of this poor Volksgrenadier. Yeah. So, for the glory of the Soviet Union, there goes that. KT and Stug are going to be trying to force away this Su-152 and all of the infantry from the Allies. We have a couple of Jackson tank destroyers going to be providing some good support against the Su-152. And here comes Choo Choo, yes. QN Palyushka Polye song, or I don't know, any kind of Soviet song. We have 9 T-34 76s coming in through the road. This is going to be probably the end of the base from Bobo, but something tells me that Butthund is not going to be retreating these T-34s when the time comes. Wait, oh no, he's actually going in for the Volksgrenadiers. He's going to be trying to crush the Volksgrenadiers beneath the threads of the motherland, and it looks like he's going to be succeeding in that because, interestingly enough, these medical supplies are actually acting as a wall, and the Volksgrenadiers can't really retreat onto them. They're just taking so much damage, and in fact, all of the Germans are going down. We have a huge crushing against Pinker's forces. T-34s, one of them takes a Panzerfaust, and I'm guessing that Panzerfausts are going to be the end of most of these T-34s. Pinker is very, very amused by this. In fact, another anti-tank rifle grenade from the Panzer Fusiliers going down. In the meantime, we have a push from the Allies in the south. Very, very good coordination. I'm guessing it's accidental, but definitely works out for the Allies. We have some more capturing going on. It looks like the Allies are losing their triple cap. The T-34 Horde is pushing through, getting some damage done. Looks like none of the T-34s have gone down yet, but well, that's the first one. We are burning as 1 goes down, 2 go down, 3 go down, 4 about to go down with the Yak Panzer and the Tiger coming in to reinforce. 5 go down, and yeah, I'm guessing that this is going to be the end of the T-34 spam. 6, 7, we're down to 2 effectively. We're down to 1, and we're down to 0. It's the final countdown for the T-34s. In fact, one of them is still alive somehow and managed to get south. So the wild ride of the T-34s came across the entire German base. Didn't really do any damage at all. In fact, kind of baited more Allied forces into charging in. It did completely smash Pinker. But Pinker was already kind of down the drain when it came to his army, so it didn't really get too much done for the Allies. In fact, the Puma takes out, well, no, it doesn't really take out the Comet, but Puma, very brave, definitely, charging in along with the Tiger across against the Sherman Firefly. Here comes a mortar barrage from Pinker's mechanized assault. In fact, it looks like the Allies do still have some forces around, but I'm guessing at this point it is going to be the end for them, because while the Sherman Firefly is keeping the Tiger at bay, there is also a Yag Tiger and a KT from Banania Pina, of course. KT supported by Yag Panzer. This is definitely not going to be a good option. Yeah, in general, it seems like the Allies are going to be on the back foot throughout the rest of this game. I mean, the Isu-152 can do some damage, but with the Jagdtiger around, yeah, not much that the Isu-152 can do. The Jagdtiger is definitely the best option that the Germans have to counter the Isu-152, even better than the Elephant, and so in general, it seems like the Germans are going to have a very easy time pushing down south. Z-Doctor's infantry can't really do much because there's a KT on the field, and the KT eats infantry like its crew eats bratwurst. And at this point, it seems like Sherman Firefly, trying to push up north, going to be able to destroy the Stuka zu Fuß. Small victory, however, as there is a KT, or actually a JT, going to be able to just plop down some rounds on that Sherman Firefly, force it to retreat. Looks like a artillery barrage is coming down into the little river. Not really doing much. T-34, last of the T-34s, rams into the King Tiger, but unfortunately it is not going to be enough because there's nothing to, really nothing to follow up on that, because all the other T-34s died in the wild ride of the T-34s. And yeah, I'm guessing this is going to be the end of the Allies. They're going to be able to hold down for a little while longer, because of course they do have the entire map under their control and they have a better income still. So they're going to be able to pump out troops to sort of stimulate the flow of Germans. But with the advantage the Germans have when it comes to actual units on the field, as you can see from the numbers of CP, or not CPs, actually, Gadabaya Kroch still has a very, very respectable force, and King Noob looks like still has things, and yeah, there goes another infantry squad from the demo charge. But Hund definitely proving to be quite the entertainer as he continues to, for free, tell the Germans what's going on. In the meantime, the Tiger Swarm, so we have Tiger from Bobo, Tiger from Pinker, and the Hunting Tiger from Demaxus. So we have 3 different kinds of tigers pushing up against the British armor. The British armor is sturdy and tough with that Churchill Crocodile in the vanguard, and it's got quite the stingy little Sherman Firefly, but it's not going to be able to do much. There goes the T-34. that tried to, looks like, ram the Tiger. Unfortunately, it looks like the concentrated fire operation will miss from Galubay Croft. So that is going to be the end of the Church of Crocodile. That is very, very unfortunate for our British player. The concentrated fire operation does fall into the Yak Tiger. The Yak Tiger's engine isn't exactly the most reliable, prone to being pretty much destroyed by anything. And the concentrated fire operation does damage it. There's also another damaged engine Tiger coming in, this time from the conscripts anti-tank grenades. And this Tiger is definitely in trouble, as there is a Su-152 and a few AT guns around to do some damage against it. Problem is, it seems like the Germans have such a huge superiority at this point, it can't really result in anything good for the Allies. Here comes a flank from two T34s. That is definitely going to be more effective than the Wild Rider of the T34s. They're going to be able to get behind the Yak Tiger, and this is exactly what the Yak Tiger is not good for. And the big weakness of the Yak Tiger is when people get into its rear. The Su-152 also pushes up the center, takes out the Tiger from, looks like that was Pinker's Tiger. Yak Tiger also goes down, although the Maxis can probably just replace it very quickly. Yeah, he does have a lot of resources in the bank. The second Tiger and the T-34 can't see each other because of all the smoke of the other destroyed vehicles. Su-152 still plopping some rounds downrange with that huge 152 gun. Stug going to be flanking a T-34. That is not something that you see every day, easily destroying it. Looks like in the south, the Germans have complete control over the island with the use of the King Tiger. That is going to be pretty easy to take and hold. It looks like the Jagdpanzer, though, needs to be repaired as quickly as possible. It looks like the Sturmpanzer quarters took some fire, and so once that is going to be repaired, the poor Sturmpiles are going to be able to repair the KT. In the north, it looks like not much is happening. We have a Comet tank that's been purchased by Galubay Croft along with his other forces. It looks like he's been taking quite a few casualties. He's replaced his Firefly with a new one, and, well, he could be trying to steal some of that fuel from the Soviets. He does have some infantry, which is definitely useful, because, yeah, Choo-Choo again with the train of T-34s. But the problem is, yeah, it seems like the Germans don't really have the capping power to answer the Allies. I mean, what's been going on is that the Germans have been winning the engagement, but the Allies still have a bit of a upper hand when it comes to map control. Well, to map control definitely, but also when it comes to VPs. So this is not the best possible thing to happen for our Germans, because they're down to only 163 VPs, while the Allies are down to 175. Yeah, it's still a pretty precarious position for the Germans as well. It looks like the Firefly definitely making a big mistake going in first against all of that madness of German armor. In fact, the second T-34 from King Noob. King Noob did have a T-34. He suicided it. Yeah, this Comet also needs to retreat. That's a lot of Germany there. Really needs to escape. With the Panzerfaust, these Grenadiers can definitely make the Comet very vulnerable to the Jagdtiger's fire. The Jagdtiger tries to shoot through the woods, doesn't really do much. The Su-152 can also do some damage for the German armor, but unfortunately, with the Jagdtiger around, the Jagdtiger is going to be able to respond in kind, I'm guessing. Misses. Very lucky for that Su-152. So, south still firmly under the control of the Germans. We have some skirmishing going on with Z-Doctor, but Z-Doctor has been losing out basically his entire infantry force. The pride and glory of the US Army has been essentially blown to smithereens, looks like by the KT, with 35 kills. 2 Jagdpanzer 470s from him as well. Probably would be best served sent up north, in fact, rather than kept down south. These 2 Jagdpanzers, I mean, at least one of them. In the meantime, we looks like have a P-47 strafing run from Z-Doctor. Oh no, wait, maybe that could be something else. No, that was a P-47 strafing run. Looks like one of the Su-152s was abandoned, and we have a bit of a push from the infantry sections. There goes the Comet tank. Excellent light artillery barrage. I was not expecting that much damage to come in from it, from Pinker. Oh, wow, that was unfortunate. Galubay Croft coming in with the well, that was definitely not blue blood, that was definitely red blood, as the concentrated fire operation blows his own infantry up, causing two full squads of veteran infantry sections to bite the dust. Now, that is very, very, very bad for him. A huge loss. In fact, with the IS-152 being around like that, and with no allied troops being there to contest the area, I'm guessing that the Germans are going to be able to repair and use the IS-152 to their advantage, which is going to be pretty bad for the Allies, as they do already have to face the Jagdtiger. Jagdtiger definitely can tango and scrape against the IS-152 normally. With the support of a IS-152 of their own, the Germans are going to be definitely in a huge advantage, as the IS-152 can deal with both infantry and vehicles. And it is especially the anti-infantry ability that concerns the Germans, as they do require some way to deal with these shock troops, which are now trying to come in and do some damage against, well, the Panzer Fusiliers. The Tiger really can't do much against them. With two Tigers on the field, the Germans should be fine overall. Two Jacksons can't really do much on their own against the two Jagdpanzers, but the two Jagdpanzers have the support also of the King Tiger to soak up some fire for them. So the two Jacksons definitely need to retreat. The one Jackson definitely needs to retreat as soon as possible. We have a Churchill Crocodile, yet another one, going into the breach once more. Unfortunately, not really much that it can do, because there is no breach. And so, yeah, I'm thinking that the Allies are going to be donezo. Now, while I definitely enjoyed Butt Hunt's T34 spam of doom, he's got a second one coming in, actually. Once this T34 comes in, I'm thinking that he's going to be going in for the last ride of the T34 Horde. And, well, I can't really see it going better than before. I mean, especially with this IS-152 fully repaired and operational for Pinker. There's two heavy tank destroyers, two heavy tanks, Lukes. Why a Lukes? I am very confused. Yeah, here comes the choo-choo. Yeah, the choo-choo from the Lukes. Not really doing much. Anyway, this is definitely not the position in which the T-34 Horde wants to be in. Although, all these vehicles seem to be in a very precarious position. If the T-34 Horde, you know, fires up the engines and goes around all these tanks, although we only have a minute and a half left on the clock with the triple cap coming in for the Germans. Choo-choo motherfucker. Yeah, the second choo-choo isn't coming in. I wonder why. I would have liked to see the last ride of the T-34s. It looks like he was waiting for the 9th T-34 to come in, but that is not going to be nearly enough because there's no time. I mean, you should have used them before. Looks like he's going to be trying to go after the KT and the two Jagdpanzers. Smart move. Don't go for the stronger opponent, although perhaps at this point you should have gone for the opponent that's closer to you. What did I say? That, oh no, actually the demo charge didn't blow up. T-34 Horde, choo-choo going down, Butt Hunt does toot the horn, and well, yeah, 4, 3, oh no, actually, sorry, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 ticks, oh no, actually, yeah, 2 ticks, 1 tick, Cluster Garden is going to be over. Now, okay, let's actually talk a little bit. Yeah, let's do some real talk. Let's do a bit of a serious little talk. Okay, Butt Hunt, you absolutely are the lord of the T-34. You're great, okay? You probably should have been a little bit smarter. Now, I'll just talk about how to execute that T-34 push, in my opinion. So coming in with the T-34 is up into the north area of the German base. The Germans absolutely did not expect anything like this. So this had the potential to be absolutely devastating. What I think Butt Hunt should have done is just stay in Bobo's area of the base, you can see all this damage done was just done by the drive-by of the T34s coming through. So what I would have done is I would have just parked the T34s in and destroyed Bobo's base entirely. Just completely smash it up and blow it to smithereens. Then come down, blow up the Maxis's HQ, kill his infantry, do whatever possible, then retreat. Maybe try to find some trucks along the way to snipe, and then retreat back to your repair stations, although perhaps building some repair stations over here would have been better to have a bit of a quicker access to repairs. And once you're done, you just charge where the enemy doesn't expect. That would be the center, because they've already seen you go for the base, and so you're going to have Bobo busy repairing all of his, buildings. So that's one player down. You're probably going to have the Maxis very worried about some kind of push towards his base as well, and towards his trucks, because, well, that's the secondary target that you had chosen in the first attack. So at this point, you have the center that's probably going to be very unmanned. So you kill all of that in the center. You allow your friends from the British contingent, Galibai Croft, coming in to support you. You allow them to come into a breach, and then you try to flank and deal with the south as much as possible. Because really the big advantage of the T34s, especially in a swarm, is their speed and mobility. So what you want to do is you want to do some kind of hit and run attacks where you don't really go into one area and then go into another area of the enemy and then move along like this, because this was just a suicide. You want to be avoiding as many Panzerfausts as possible. You want to avoid as many enemy vehicles as possible. You want to do as much damage as possible while the enemy is not there. And that had the potential to do it. Actually, I liked what Butthund was trying to do. Although, I mean, I'm very sad that, KV2 happened, because KV2 is strong. But, in fact, one of those Yak Panzers did go down to the T34 Horde. It looks like. Well, maybe that was not the T34 Horde. I think that was the Sherman Firefly. Yeah, those are the Sherman Fireflies from Galibai Croft. So yes, that was a pretty interesting little game, I'm gonna call it. This was just extreme. I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.